Hello, guys, girls, and whoever you are watching this video. Today I want to talk about what it was like at a Rammstein concert. And I'm not sure if I've spoken about this before. I hope I've not, because, I'm all about having, new content, whatever you may call it. But I went to download in 2016, and it was by far one of the most extraordinary and amazing experiences ever. So starting the story from the very beginning of the day to the very end of the day, I got up at 7 o'clock around. I was extremely excited. I got up, I slung on some shirts, well, not some shirts, but I slung on a shirt and jeans. I didn't really focus on makeup or anything fancy or jazzy like that, because, I just was all hyped to seeing the performance. I didn't really focus on what I looked like, but, for the journey ahead. So, got around 7, slung on my clothes, went downstairs, started a live broadcast on Facebook, explaining about what was going to happen and everything like this. And I was waiting for my dad to come so he could, wheel me off to see my favourite ever band. It's all fun and exciting. So, eventually my father arrived, and we both headed off. He was wearing like a sort of a tank toppy thing, which he would soon regret. So on the way there, it was really, really nice weather, like unbelievably nice weather. We got lost a lot of the time. Like, we got lost a lot. On the way to Derby, we did take a very, very bad wrong turning, which led us to be on a motorway that was leading near enough the opposite way. So we then had to continue this motorway, then exit off, then go back down the road we come, then just to go on a different sort of route that was nowhere near what the sat-nav was telling us. So despite what the sat-nav was telling us, we finally got on the correct track, and it took ages. The journey that was probably meant to be not even an hour journey turned out to be an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours. That was alright, because the gates opened at 11:30, I believe. The gates opened at 11:30, and we got there for about 9:30 approximately. So we got there, the gates were rammed, it was a tremendously long wait. So we got to the car park. It took a while to get parked up, but we got there and were greeted by people who were selling t-shirts. And of course, me being me, it was please daddy. So obviously, he whipped out the £10 note, got no change back, and then, slung on the t-shirt. I don't know, I didn't put the t-shirt on, I put it straight in my bag because I didn't want it getting ruined. So I didn't put the t-shirt on, but I put it in my bag, it was like a rucksack. I had like food and drink in the rucksack as well. I thought it would be enough, but it was not enough. So we got there. We walked up this massive hill up to the gates. We sat at like a field. We sat at a field with all different people there who were like, who was going to be there to watch other bands that were playing. I had met a couple who were there to see Rammstein as well as me. This woman had a beautiful Till portrait on her arm. Oh, it was amazing, and I was super jealous. But I would have not got a big tattoo like that. I mean, I chickened out getting a tattoo on holiday at least 4 or 5 times because I was like, no, it's too painful. And now I've got 3 of them, and of course one of them, if you can't see properly, is the Rammstein logo and Till's autograph, and then on the other arm is the fan leaf. But anyway, I am now thinking about getting Till's portrait on my arm, and then maybe the other members of Rammstein too, but I'm not too sure. I might just stick with Till. Anyway, so I met a bunch of cool people, and it made the atmosphere really great and really friendly. So it was now time to queue, and everyone barged to the front row of the queue. I was quite far in front of the queue. I was more or less like about 5-6 people in front of me, so I was pretty confident I'd get the first row. So waiting in queue took no less than like maybe about a good hour. Like, I was stood in that queue for probably like an hour, maybe a little bit longer, but it seems longer when you're standing up and, you know, there's nothing much going on. I did get speaking to the people around me in the queue. The sun was hot, and there was a load of bugs and flies and stuff, which kind of bugged the hell out of me, literally. Anyway, then after a long period of time waiting, the gates were open, and then everyone had to go in for inspection. So I did have a drink with me at the time, which was open water. He patted me down, you know, he like did the, you know, the like full on arm checks, the leg checks, you know, down the body, just make sure you haven't got any like knives or whatever you may, or things that are banned from the actual, you know, site. He did open my drink, you know, give it a sniff, and like, okay, that's alright. You're not allowed to have open bottles, but I can smoke, that's fine. So I got my bottle back, which I then gave to my dad, because I don't like getting one's face going near my beverage. It's just not me. So I did end up giving my dad the drink, but it was hot, so he appreciated it. So then we were let out into the field, and I tell you, it was the official opening of the gates, and I tell you, it was like the championships for the horse race, because everyone darted off in all different directions, and I knew exactly what stage I needed to be on. I did, and that stage was directly ahead of me. I knew I needed to be at that stage, so I got up and I waddled my little ass up to the first stage. Oh yes, so ran. There was people there saying, don't run. No, I'm not running, don't worry. As soon as I was out of sight, boom, off I went. Did I get to first row? Yes, I did. I got to first row. But I got the first row, but it wasn't quite in the centre as I would have liked it. I wasn't disappointed because still I was at first row. I wasn't like stood behind someone going, I can't see nothing. So I was pretty happy that that was the position I was in. So then the time came and there was a huge wait, like a huge wait. My father was stood behind me, he was stood next to me, but with the amount of people pushing him out of the way and stuff, and I would not be pushed. I was gripping onto the side, onto the rails, like it was my life. I would not let go, and I was not letting go for anybody. But my dad, he let go, and he was shoved behind me. So, one of the first bands that come on was Royal Republic. And I've never, the majority of the bands that were playing are, then, I didn't really know, to be honest. Like, maybe I'd, like, read the names, but I'd never even, like, given them a second thought. But there was, I can't even remember. What am I doing? There was Royal Republic that come on first, and there was a young boy and his mother. His mother was just like, "Oh, please let him just, get in front of you," talking to my dad, and then, so my dad being my dad, he was like, "Fine, all right then, okay, I suppose you can." So he was stood next to me near enough, watching this band play. And they were pretty good. I mean, they weren't sort of thing that I would have listened to on my own, but they were pretty good. I did like them. So the atmosphere was great. There was a load of people around me. Well, I say around me, but there was thousands, hundreds of thousands, excuse me. So the atmosphere was great. It was ecstatic and electrifying. So the band was playing, and then they went off. Another band, and the majority of the bands I didn't know. And there was baby metal. Now, there is probably a lot of baby metal fans. There was a lot of baby metal fans, and I tell you, personally, not my cup of tea. There was a load of people being hotched over the railing, over the fence, and about maybe an hour, 2 hours into the performances, there was a load of people who were obviously high on drugs, being carted off. One woman had her arm dislocated, One woman just completely out of it. And there was a man. There was all sorts of people. I got booted in the back a few times by people trying to get over the fence, maybe like a boot in the head. But still, there was Korn who come on. That was really good because I had known them before going to download anyway, so I knew some of their songs. So I thought, brilliant. I didn't know they were going to be on, but they were on. And I thought, wow, great, perfect. So Korn was playing, and everyone was near enough ecstatic. I mean, there was a lot of cheering, a lot of headbanging, maybe a few concussions with clashing heads, but I don't know. It was amazing. But then a few more bands, and then finally, after probably 6 hours of standing in absolute pouring rain. I forgot to mention it had started raining as soon as the band started playing, and despite the fact it was freezing cold, and raining, it still didn't really put a dampener on my mood, because I was there to see the one, the only Rammstein, and I was not going to be deterred by water. So, despite the fact that it was raining, about 6 hours standing in pure and utter rain, it was getting a tad darker at the time, and then suddenly, curtains drop. We all knew it. We all knew exactly what was going on. It was time for Rammstein, and everyone went quiet for a second. And then suddenly, with the curtains dropping, and then the mic test, the drum test and everything like that, it all started up, and it was magical. It was only the test, and people were going ecstatic. There were people whispering, people shouting, Rammstein, Rammstein. And then suddenly, after like half an hour to like 40 minutes of preparation, the curtain, the lights started coming on at the side, and then boom, there it was, the Rammstein logo popping up, and then as soon as they come on stage, as soon as the lights come on up on stage, and then the countdown from 59, and then people screaming 59, 58, 57, so on and so forth, and then I was there and I was counting down with them, and it was all fun and games and amazing stuff. And then the countdown, 10, 9, 8, 7, so on, and it was all just like, from the moment the countdown come on, my entire body weight, and I'm a heavy person, my entire body weight lifted up off the ground. I shit you not, I was floating because of the amount of people pushing me this way and pushing me that way and pushing me this way. I was not on the ground at all. I had never been pressed against the fence so hard in my life before. Like, it was unreal. So then it was 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh my god! And then the curtains lifted up, and then it was just pitch black on the stage, and everyone's just like, and then everyone's cheering, Rammstein, 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 and I was as well a little bit, maybe a little bit too much, because I tell you, all the footage I have is just basically me screaming down the mic, just going, Rammstein! Probably not even remotely in my head. But it was great. The atmosphere was amazing. And then they started off with the first song. Everyone like singing along, and then there's me trying to sing along but don't know any German, so I'm probably making sounds that sound like the lyrics but aren't actually the lyrics. And then after about over an hour, maybe 2 hours of performing, they suddenly went quiet and it went very dark. And then it was the encore, or time for the encore. And I tell you, I never seen or heard anything like it. The amount of people around me just screaming Rammstein, and then clapping and cheering all around me. It was amazing. And then suddenly, from the stage, Lord Till himself comes up to the stage, and then they all start, and they all join, and they all then start singing on a ditch. And it was like angels singing in my ear, just for me. And I tell you, I shit you not, he come to the corner of the stage. He was directly in front of me. Like, If I had arms long enough, I would have been able to caress his cheek and say, I love you. But he was just a little bit too far away. So he was singing with his angelic rustic voice and his deep German accent. He then come on and he looked directly at me. And I tell you, my heart had never beaten so weird in my life. Like, my heart stopped for about 5 seconds. I kid you not. I was on the brink of passing out. He looked at me, he put his hand out to me, and he continued to sing his words. And I tell you, if I had not been pushed in the back a little bit, I probably would have passed out with pure and utter excitement. I promised myself I would not fangirl. I said to myself, do not fangirl, because Till does not like fangirls. And what did I do? I fangirled so hard, it made me cringe. And then, good old Paul, what did he come and do? He comes off stage and he starts high-fiving people. And he come about 5 people away from me, and then some barnacle brain had called him back up stage. That was the moment my heart broke. It really was. He come back up on stage. I was that far away from my hand touching Paul's. And I told myself, please do not fangirl. Please do not fangirl as much as you have done already. And what did I do? I screamed Paul's name. But it wasn't a scream that was, well, let's see, sophisticated. It was a scream of Paul. Like, I cringed. My soul cringed. But I was so close. And a guy behind me, with the word so elegant, was, Paul, you cock tease. And I had never laughed so hard in my head ever. And it was ecstatic. So there I was, my dripping black wet hair, my clothes, everything drenched. Singing, I say singing, but miming sounds that probably aren't even real words in German to one of my favourite songs. And it was amazing. And then so it all ended. Everything ended. Rammstein went off stage. My heart broke a little inside. And then the crowd just slowly started to depart. There was a lot of slipping on the mud. Oh, I didn't slip. But I saw a lot of people slip. And to me, that was really comical. So then we eventually found our car. We eventually found the car, and I was knackered. I was so tired. It was unreal. My top was drenched, and I was freezing cold. So I had to take that off. I was going to wear the top that I had previously brought, but that was drenched as well. So off come the top, and I just passed out. And I passed out, and then the only time I woke up was when I was at home here and bursting for a wee. Like I'd never wanted to pee so bad in my life. And when I got to the bathroom, all I wanted to do was get back in the car, rewind the day, and just do it all over again. The only time that I would go to download again really would be to see Rammstein. Because the rain is inevitable. It download. Like, it is inevitable. But still. That was my experience at Download 2016. The most unforgettable experience of my life. And it is going to be a memory that I will hold on to until I am dead. So, thank you for listening to my 26-minute little chat about my experience with Download. And yes, I hope one day I get to see them again before I die. I really do wish that when I do see them again, I get to meet them backstage, because I would love that. My little heart beats. It does, it beats just to have a handshake or a hug. But anyway, thank you for listening to my experience. I hope you enjoyed listening to me. And if you were at Download 2016, please do comment in the section below. I would love to hear your story too. And I hope you have an amazing day, night, evening, afternoon, whatever. And take care. Bye bye.